And welcome back for Season 7 of the Eagles Nest. Yes, we are back. I'm your host, Brett Gendra.
And I'm Colin Lepine.
Men's ice hockey looking to get that last playoff spot in the SUNYAC playoffs. Took on their rival Geneseo. Could they get a win?
Brockport men's basketball held a court advantage over New Paltz and Oneonta. Could they start putting together a winning streak?
And Brockport women's basketball seems to be going the other way. Can they finally find their niche and get a W?
All this and more coming up on the Eagles Nest. Brockport men's ice hockey has had a rough go this season, but they are still in the hunt for a final playoff spot. They hosted Geneseo a few weeks ago and were just 3 points behind them in standings. Eager to get a postseason berth, they put forward their best effort. Early in the first, Brendan Rothfuss on the forecheck comes up with a puck, and with a little help from a Geneseo defenseman, the deflection goes in and it's 1-0 Brockport. Close game throughout the night. Geneseo would tie it in the second. Here in a long stretch pass on a power play for a breakaway, and it's now 2-1 Geneseo. Brockport in trouble, but Geneseo's undisciplined play will give them 2 5-on-3 power plays in the last 5 minutes of the game. On the second one, James Cody at the top looks for the clapper, but instead he finds Mike Hayward down low, and it's a tie game. We get some bonus hockey. In overtime, Geneseo, off of a bit of rush, misses a pass, and Oliver Wren comes up with one of his 38 saves in the night. Brockport got a chance in a breakaway, but they just can't make the play happen. This one would end in a tie, and Brockport sits 3 points behind Geneseo after this one. Both teams still have 3 games left to play in the regular season.
Brockport men's hockey looking to try to stay hot. Speaking of hot, Brockport hockey's Adam Schoaf put out a fire today at the laundromat. So if you live in one of those apartments above the building, be sure to say thank you that you still have all your stuff. But another hot team on campus, that's the Brockport gymnastics team. They came off their second week as the #1 ranked Division III gymnastics team in the United States. They were in Cornell taking on Division I Cornell and Pennsylvania. Brockport would struggle on the bars that day, but they would dominate the floor routine. 3 girls would finish in the top 4 on that day. Taylor Wurzba took second with a 9.75. Taryn Cateridge and Kylie Chapman would tie for 4th with a 9.65. That'd be good enough for a team second place in the event by just 1/10 of a point. However, they would finish 3rd in the meet, 187.57 to Cornell's 189.9 and Penn's 191.85. But they would remain the #1 team at the Division III level again at the end of the week.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, see how men's and women's basketball fared in their recent games. You're watching the Eagles Nest on BTV.
All this and more. All this and more.
Coming up on the Eagles Nest.
Hey Brockport sports fans, don't forget to check out some home Brockport sports action as Brockport men's basketball takes on Plattsburgh Friday, February 17th and Potsdam Saturday, February 18th. That will be their senior day. Brockport men's basketball would start off the last week of January on a Tuesday night in Oswego against a perfect 11-0 Lakers in conference play, where Oswego would grab an early lead in this one, and they would never look back. Brockport's closest attempt at the lead was being 5 back midway through the first half. They would drop this one 75-89. Donnell Jackson hits a team-high 19 points with this one. Gerald Williams on his heels, though, with 16, and Kaheem Green would add 11. Later in the week, the boys played host to Oneonta State, where they hoped for a game to tilt in their favor, and it appears this one would. Kaheem Green with a steal early in this one. goes down the court. He puts it home, 3-0 Brockport. Minutes later, Derek Klein heads up the court, finds Green again. 2 more of his team-leading 20 on the day, but he would not lead the team alone as freshman Lance Legister would get in on the scoring early. 2 of his 20 on the day as well. Brockport would take this one 85-62. Legister and Green combined for 40 points and shoot 66% on the day. Don't forget Gerald Williams. He was in there as a supporting cast member. He would put up 10. And the following day, Brockport took on SUNY New Paltz, sitting 6-6 in conference play, desperately wanting to get above the 500 line. The game would be a scoring fiasco. New Paltz's Matt Devine put up 35 on the day to help his team to a 78-point total. But talk about Linsanity. How about Kahim Grinsanity? He would put a double-double with 25 points and 10 rebounds. And with the help of Lance Legister's 18 and John Ivy's 14, he would lead the Golden Eagles to a 94-78 victory.
Women's basketball traveled to Oswego last weekend looking for a big road win against conference rivals Oswego. The Lakers jumped out to an early lead and led by double digits throughout most of the first half. Brockport, though, would not go down quietly as they went on an 11-2 run near the end of the first half, cutting the score to just 39-32. Oswego unfortunately came out hot in the second half, scoring the first 9 points and never looking back. Oswego would go on to win the game 83-64. Freshman Phoebe Burns was the highlight of the night, putting away a career-high 27 points. Brockport was once again led by freshmen in Friday's effort against Oneonta. Cecile Segrist led the way. Late in the game, she would have trouble on this one, grab her own rebound, and put up 2 of her 12 points on the night. Minutes later, she grabs another rebound for 2 points to help her get her third double-double of the season with 12 points and 12 rebounds. Senior Rachel Sakani was right behind her with 11 points. The effort was not enough to top this New Paltz team. Brockport goes down 82-64. Brockport hosted New Paltz Saturday afternoon, and the team was looking for a win to snap their current losing streak. New Paltz built an early lead in the game and would not waver. Brockport struggled in the field, hitting just 7 field goals in each half. A bright spot on the team once again was freshman phenom Phoebe Burns, who scored 14 points in the 76-50 loss.
And in Brockport swimming and diving, senior Chris Austin would break a school record and qualify for 2 NCAA events. He scored a 482.15 in the 3-meter dive, breaking Dan Bergano's 2010 record, and he would shatter his own personal best that was just 4:11 before heading into that contest. He would then score a 4:42.15 in the 1-meter, both of those qualifying times. Good luck to Chris in the NCAAs.
While both wrestling and track and field have been in a lot of action recently, see how they both did. You're watching The Eagle's Nest on BTV.
All this and more.
Coming up on the Eagle's Nest.
Hey Brockport sports fans, don't forget to check out some home Brockport sports action as Brockport women's basketball hosts their Play 4K game, breast cancer awareness game, and senior day this weekend, Friday, February 17th and Saturday, February 18th. And in wrestling, Brockport would host RIT in its senior meet. They looked to complete the undefeated season as head coach Don Murray was honored before the matchup, got his 300th career win this season, and the Eagles came out flying right out of the gate, earning 2 pin victories in the first 3 matches. The first coming from Tyler Marlowe on Shin Wakabayashi at the 125-pound weight class right here. They grab a 6-0 lead after that contest. Then later at the 141-pound level, Eli Golding would pin Greg Jones to take a 15-0 lead. The senior Justin James had the battle of the night at the 165-pound level, took on Troy Kane. James grabbed a takedown late in the match to break a tie and was able to ride out the time and able to take us through this victory.
I kept attacking and got the 2 takedowns. The first takedown in the first period and the second one in the third. And on top, too, I knew I had to ride him because he's tough on top. So that was pretty much it.
Brockport would lose just 2 matches on the day, including the forfeit for a 32-12 win. Brockport goes 6-0 on the season for a perfect season. You can get one last chance to see some of the wrestlers compete here as they will host the ECWC Championships Saturday, February 25th at the Tuttle North Gymnasium.
Last weekend, Brockport track and field took place in the Hamilton College Invitational. Zach Ferreira would lead the way for the team, continuing his dominance in the pole vault event. Ferreira managed to beat his own school record, which he had just set a week earlier, by posting a jump of 16 feet 3 inches. Ferreira came in first place by a huge margin, beating his closest opponent by 3 feet. Caitlin Moliere headed up the women's team by posting 2 qualifying times at the Invitational. Moeller came in first place in the 500-meter dash, posting an ECAC qualifying time of 1 minute 21 seconds. Moeller was also a part of the women's distance relay team that came in first place. Helping Moeller to win the victory and qualifying ECAC time were teammates Sarah Ritchie, Kelly Burke, and Rachel Malone. Also putting up impressive results was the Brockport men's weight throw. They took 4 of the top 8 spots in this event, with John Mordoff finishing 3rd and Antoine Keels finishing 4th.
And that is just about going to do it for the first show of the new season of the Eagles Nest. We got a lot of people to thank. Kelly Vergeen and Brockport Sports Information, 89.1 The Point. Jim and the Ginnies, they really stood on their heads to get this season going. And, of course, the crew and the fans. We dealt with a lot of problems today, but you know what? Now you guys have a problem. The show's over. Well, for Colin Lapine, I'm Brett Gendra.
Well, Brett, you're in luck. We actually have some bonus footage that I'm sure you'll really like.
Oh, boy.
No freshman here. With those outfits, I was expecting the red